Hello and welcome, my dear friend. If this found you, it's because what you've been praying for didn't wait for a better day. It's already happening in the day you're in. Chosen ones, this is where God begins the real change. Not in yesterday's replay, not in tomorrow's forecast. Right here, where your feet are. Because when you return to now, you stop leaking your life into imaginary versions of it. And you start moving with God inside the one that's real. With the pace life has been hitting you lately, some of you have been living slightly ahead of your own day. You wake up, and before the day begins, your mind is already somewhere else. Already rehearsing, already predicting, already scanning the next few hours like a security camera. Or you live slightly behind your day. You wash your hands, and you think of a choice you made 5 years ago. You make tea and replay a decision that didn't go the way you hoped. You sit in traffic and replay an old version of yourself you don't even recognize anymore. And the hardest part is, it doesn't feel wrong in the moment. It feels like you're being responsible, but it's exhausting because you're trying to do something no person was designed to do. Live outside the moment while still trying to survive inside it. So let me give you a truth that is simple but heavy in the best way. Your strength returns when you stop living everywhere except here, because here is where God is. Here is where your breath is. Here is where your next step is. And your next step is all heaven has ever asked you to take. People think living in the moment means pretending nothing hurts, or forcing a smile, or acting fine all day. No, living in the moment is a spiritual discipline. It's you choosing to stop abandoning yourself every time life feels uncertain. It's you saying, I'm here, God is here, and that's enough to take the next step. And when you live like that, something changes. You start to flow. Not because life becomes easy suddenly, because you stop fighting reality like it's an enemy. My dear friend, flow is not laziness, and it definitely isn't passivity. Flow is trusting that what is happening right now, even if it's uncomfortable, is the best it can be in this moment, because God is still forming you inside it. And some people hear that and their mind pushes back immediately. But what about mistakes? But what about the times I chose wrong? But what about the times I didn't know better? Chosen ones, listen carefully. You couldn't become this version of you without the process, and growth will always reveal what you still needed, right on time. There is no wisdom without experience, and there is no experience without getting some things wrong, missing some details, reacting imperfectly, learning the hard way, and realizing later what you couldn't see then. That's not failure, that's training. That's how God builds his loved ones. And this is where many of you need healing, because many chosen ones have been treating mistakes like evidence that you're unsafe, unworthy, or behind. But mistakes are often one of the ways God teaches you what you'll need for the next step. Sometimes the mistake is the lesson that saves you later. Sometimes the wrong door is what teaches you how to recognize the right one. Sometimes the hard season is what gives you discernment you couldn't get from comfort. So this message is not telling you to become perfect. It's calling you to become gentle. Gentle with your mind, gentle with your process, gentle with the version of you who was learning in real time. And that gentleness is not weakness. It's respect for what God made. If you've ever called yourself ungrateful because you weren't smiling through it, hear me. That's not what gratitude is. Gratitude is not pretending you love everything that happens. It's not forcing joy. It's not acting happy when you're tired. Gratitude is treating yourself like someone God created with love, care, and respect. It's saying, I may not like this moment, but I won't insult myself inside it. It's saying, I'm allowed to feel what I feel, but I will not turn my feelings into a weapon against me. It's saying, even on a hard day, I will speak to myself with honor. Because emotions are not your enemy. Emotions are guidance. They're signals. They're information. They're often the first place God shows you what needs attention. Some of you learned to fear your emotions because you thought feeling deeply meant you were unstable. But what if it actually means you're aware? What if your sadness is pointing to something you value? What if your anger is showing you where a boundary is needed? What if your anxiety is showing you've been carrying too much alone? The goal was never to feel nothing. The goal is to stop letting feelings drag you out of the moment and into a story that isn't happening right now. Because right now, you are alive. Right now, you and God both are present. Right now, you have enough grace for this hour. So here's what the power of now looks like in real life. It's the moment you notice your mind drifting into tomorrow's fear, and you gently bring it back. Not with shame, with simplicity. You bring it back to your breath, back to your body, back to what you are doing now. You bring it back to a sentence that anchors you. God, I'm here. That's it. And when your mind tries to reopen yesterday, you don't wrestle with it for an hour. You don't punish yourself for remembering. You just return. God, I'm here. Because the more you return, the more your life starts to feel guided again. Not rushed, not forced, guided. And my dear friend, if this message is landing, do something kind with it. Share it with someone who's been living in their head so long, they forgot what peace feels like. Here's what most people miss. Because being present isn't just a mindset. It's a place God can actually lead you from. Because God's guidance usually doesn't arrive like a billboard. It arrives like a quiet nudge in the middle of an ordinary moment, while you're folding laundry, while you're answering one email, while you're standing in front of the fridge with the door open, not even hungry, just overwhelmed. And if your mind is always sprinting ahead, you won't catch it. It's like trying to pull thread through fabric with a needle. If your hands are steady, the thread follows. But if your hands are shaking because your thoughts are living in yesterday and tomorrow, even the right thread keeps missing the whole. Nothing is wrong with you. You're just trying to be guided while you're mentally somewhere else. So when we say it's already happening, we're not talking about vague magic in the distance. We're talking about this. God is already changing how you move through your day. He's already changing how quickly you return to yourself. He's already teaching you how to come back before you spiral. That is change. That is growth. That is the breakthrough beginning in the place most people ignore, the small moments. And this is where you'll feel the difference. Not because you never feel fear again, but because fear stops driving. You're learning to catch your mind when it runs off and bring it back to what's real right here. That returning is the skill. And this is where your relationship with gratitude becomes real. Gratitude isn't pretending you love every chapter. Gratitude is refusing to disrespect God's workmanship while you're walking through a hard page. It's treating your own mind like a place God lives, not a place you keep trashing when you're tired. So when you feel your emotions rise, don't panic. Emotions are not proof you're failing. They're often proof you're paying attention. Chosen ones, you're not being punished for feeling. You're being taught how to listen without letting a feeling hijack your whole day. Next time you catch your mind leaving the moment, either toward regret or toward fear, you can say one sentence to God, "Keep me here with you." And then ask yourself one question. What is my next clean step? Not your next 10 steps, not your whole future, just the next clean step. Maybe you take the shower, maybe you apologize, maybe you rest, maybe you say no, maybe you finally say yes. Then you do the one thing in front of you with your whole presence. This is how life becomes lighter, without it becoming perfect. Because the weight wasn't only your circumstances, it was the constant mental travel. And the reason this message found you now is because God is inviting you back into alignment with today. So if you feel like nothing is changing yet, hear this with full confidence. If you are returning to the moment faster than you used to, it's already happening. If you are speaking to yourself with more honor than you used to, it's already happening. If you are learning to take one step without demanding a guarantee first, it's already happening. My dear friend, remember, God doesn't need you in yesterday, and He doesn't need you lost in tomorrow. He needs you with Him, right here. And that's where everything begins to move. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If this message resonated, please like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to stay connected. Continue your awakening journey by choosing one of the videos on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there.